Because we want to talk about the Super Rugby Final. It is the Crusaders against Jaguares this weekend, and Ronan O'Gara is with us to talk about that. Ronan, good morning to you. How you doing?
Hey, Jar, how are you?
I'm good, yeah. Did you like my Spanish pronunciation of Jaguares?
I did. Very impressive.
There you go. How are you guys preparing for them this weekend?
Well, it's like playing Argentina, I suppose. So a lot of the All Blacks in our squad have familiarity with that. We haven't played them yet this season, which is a little bit strange. We played them in Argentina last season, but they arrived to Christchurch today, so a long flight and obviously a different time zone. So, I think when they got to quarter final, it seemed that they were happy, and then the demolition they did of the Brumbies in the semi-final, they're dangerous. Obviously, they've won 10 of their last 11 games, so it's obviously a dangerous team to come up against, but I suppose in Crusader style we're focusing on ourselves a little bit as well.
Not to labour the point too much on the Argentinian team, but do they play a little bit like the team in the last World Cup, with quite happy to fling the ball around?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they're really, really exciting counter-attack team. So Quesada's gone in there this year, and he's made a big difference. I feel they're really playing for him, and they've been deadly on the counter-attack. I think they've scored 20 tries from inside their own half, or inside maybe their own 22. Some staggering statistic like that, which makes them very dangerous. Their skill level is high, and as we found out in Cardiff that day, when they click, they are a mean proposition for any outfit, especially at test level, but this is club level.
Your own semi-final was an incredibly tense, tight affair, a 30-26 win against the Hurricanes. Did you feel comfortable at any point during that game?
No, it was horrible. It was usually when you don't put away a team, it comes back to bite you, and I think live in the box, if they had scored off the last play, they would have deserved it. That was my gut instinct. Then I reviewed the game, and I think we had 4 opportunities from 7 metres or less between the 20th and the 33rd minute where we could have scored a try which would have made it 17-0 or nearly 20-0. So it's a complete different game. At half time, after 39 minutes, we were 13-0 up, and it makes for a different team talk when it's 13-0, and then all of a sudden they scored the last play of the game 13-7, and they haven't really been in the game, and you're like, how do I get the boys up here when we dominated the game, yet we're 6 points up? And then 2 minutes into the second half, a bit of magic from TJ Perinara put Ben Lam away down the blind side, and Bodie Barrett has a conversion for them to go ahead, and you're like, oh, we've been controlling this game, but we're not ahead in the scoreboard. So it was really difficult, with some great attacking skills and show. We probably were a little bit disappointed with our defence, but the weather was very strange for this time of year. It was dry ball the last 3 games we've had, so it's kind of summer rugby at a winter time. A lot of dew, but the boys' skill levels are good that they still play ball.
When you're the dominant team in a game but the scoreline isn't reflecting that, Ronan, how tempting is it to sort of abandon the process a little bit and not actually stick to what you're there to do and stick to the game plan?
I don't think I was probably thinking like that. I was more like, with the Hurricanes, they have some deadly individuals, like if you give Bodie Barrett space, as you know, he's electric, and TJ Perinara is in the form of his life. But we worked, like, for 39 minutes we were really, really good, but we just, even at 13-0 you would be very happy, but 13-7 is very different, and they really maximised, I suppose, their opportunities to score. So no, there isn't fellas tearing off script, to be honest. I think it just we are quite structured, but within the structure there's a fair bit of flexibility to trust your instincts as well.
When you say you're watching that and it's a horrible feeling, I presume that horrible feeling is way worse as somebody who's not on the pitch these days, somebody who's as a coach.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're in the box and you kind of go 8 points up, and you just position your book so you can get a drink of water and get something off the laptop. And then all of a sudden, I think off 3 times we scored off kickoffs, within 2 minutes they had scored. So an 8-point game, you have a little bit of breathing space and you can breathe a bit. And then all of a sudden it's back to one score, and you're like, oh no, you know.
Ronan, the team are going for a 3 in a row. In any sport, it's unbelievably difficult to stay at the top, and to do it twice back to back suggests they're a great team. To do it 3 times would be like an all-time great team. Do you talk about that to the team? Is that part of the conversations, or how do you address any of that kind of thing?
Yeah, it is, and I think you're right. You've been around sport a long time. It is extremely difficult to do, and some people that maybe aren't that tuned in will think, well, maybe they don't have that much competition. It's so competitive. It's so difficult to I wouldn't say maintain the focus, but to do what those boys are doing. I think it's really admirable, and it's great to be part of it. And you know what I mean? It all goes on the line now on Saturday night again, because if you don't get the performance, you won't get the results. So, but you know, I wasn't there for the first of them, but if they were to, last year was special, but this year, as you know, to kind of go on and do a three-peat would be extra special. But I think that's the beauty of Scott Robertson. I think so much of his of it is down to his mindset and how he kind of drives it with his culture and with its theming. So in that regard, we look into a lot of other sports, and we kind of gather inspiration from what other people have done and teams have done around the world, and it makes for such an enjoyable week that it's a great place to go to.
Because teams like that who come through a very difficult semi-final, there's some reservoir of some knowledge deep in a champion team that lets them get out of a sticky semi-final situation like the one you've come through. Would they have been able to do that if they weren't champions?
It's a great question. I don't know, genuinely, because the margins, when people talk about margins in sport, it could so easily be us on holidays on Monday during the Hurricanes going on to play a final. That's the tiny margins you're talking about. And 80 minutes to a lot of people seems like a long time in sport, but this was like, you know what I mean, shootout, and any error was punished greatly. And we just came out on the right side of a one-score game, but it could have been over, and it would have been such a hammer blow because it's only when it's gone you realise what you're leaving behind. It's not 80 minutes; it's the whole season, and it's a dynasty at this stage for what the Crusaders are doing. So I think definitely we're very lucky in the fact that we have double World Cup champions. I wouldn't underestimate what that does for people around them.
Yeah, I guess my question was a little bit, was the difference between you and the Hurricanes in retrospect the fact that you guys have that winning bank?
Yeah, I would think so. You know, I just think that it's only when you get on, or when winning becomes your norm and it becomes a habit, you know what that tastes like. And I think we were disappointed, as I said, with some aspects of our game, but the capacity to find a way to win when you're not, I suppose, firing on all cylinders speaks volumes for the mentality of a lot of the players.
When you say you're looking at examples from other sports, Ronan, do you specifically mean other sports teams that have gone on to be defending champions successfully?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in all different codes of sport, and it's obviously not allowed. I'm not allowed to talk about it publicly because it's one of the golden rules with theming with the Crusaders, that it's kept as a secret. But it's fascinating stuff. But yeah, I think it's not breaking any protocol by looking at different sports and teams and individuals that have gone on to, I suppose, excel a number of times and create such a great, I suppose, winning culture.
Is there, I'm not sure how much you can go into, is there a common thread at all between these unspecific examples?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, you're fishing nicely here. There is, of course, yeah, but one of the teams didn't go on to do the business, so they were quickly dropped. There weren't many more videos of them. It's a great motivation tool for players. You know, sometimes I think what you learn sometimes as that player is that you get sick of a coach's rant, but sometimes videos can be very powerful. So watching that is is very, very powerful. I think really gets inside a player's head sometimes better than words. Pictures are better than words at times.
I haven't talked to you yet since the La Rochelle move was confirmed. Adrian Barry's actually on his holidays in La Rochelle this week, so if you need anybody to do any house hunting for you, I'm sure he'd take
La
a phone call.
Rochelle or Ile de Ré?
Oh, he's in a bit of both actually. He's doing both. So,
Okay.
Is Ile de Ré where you're heading?
All roads point there. Yeah, Ger, I think it's a good place to live. So I was there on holidays actually a few years ago, but yeah, it would be good for the triathlon training. I think maybe we could get an off the ball team going out there and training camp. You're more than welcome.
That sounds great. Is that important though? When you get a phone call from La Rochelle and you're like, actually, I know that part of the world, and it is pretty nice, and it would be a nice thing to do.
Yeah, of course it is. As I said, like the playing days obviously are over, and the sacrifices Jessica's made, and with the kids and the schooling, there has to be a sell for them to be excited to go to place. So Ile de Ré is a beautiful place, and that's where we'll go and live. Yeah.
Obviously, you haven't thought too much, I presume, about what that culture that you're going to install in that team is going to be like, but it'll be different from the culture.
Yeah, it'll be so different. So, but nonetheless, it could be as exciting as you make it and want it to be. So that's the challenge. But you go there next week. You know what I mean? Full of excitement, really. It's a great challenge, and it's something that you want to have a go off. So that's exactly what my mindset is at the minute.
And it's that quick. So this weekend you've got the final of Super Rugby, and next week you're back in France, in this part of the world, and the new job starts straight away.
Yeah, I've got to get home as quickly as possible because La Rochelle start training next week, and I'll hit the ground the following week. Right.
It's been a whirlwind. Have you thought at all about the two years in New Zealand? Have you kind of?
Not yet. I think hopefully when I get on the plane with a smile, I'll think about that, Ger. But as you know, it's that kind of looks after itself when you kind of do the business in terms of just it's so ruthless at this level that you kind of keep your foot in the accelerator, and then when you come up for air, you'll be able to process your thoughts a bit better, I feel.
Yeah, well, it's been an amazing adventure. Best of luck this weekend, and thanks a million for talking to us.
Yeah, cheers, lads. Great to chat. Thank you.
Ronan O'Gara giving us some thoughts, probably for the last time we'll talk to him from New Zealand. Pretty amazing adventure.
Yeah, the time zone suited us perfectly.